Good afternoon, badass artists. I'm Mielu Yando. We are back today in Samhain Circle. We're going to finish our cute little Pumpkinhead girl today. We have Fiona the fairy. She's here to lend us some good fairy mojo. We have a lot of things going on, and we don't have a whole lot more to do to finish this little guy. So I thought we would do, let's see, some special stuff. We've got some new pencils by Crayola. They are called Twistables, and these are the actual crayons. We also have some colored pencils. I've kind of got them scattered all over the place, but I did some swatches, and this is what they look like. Aren't they pretty? I'm really excited about them. I've used them in a couple of pictures that I've posted in my group, my Facebook group, BadA Art. If you haven't joined the group already, follow the link in the description below. Come on over, join the group, hang out with us, share your badass art pictures with us. It is a learning group, so if you have questions or whatever, there is always someone there to help. Okay, so I've used these pencils for a couple of little projects over there, as I was saying, before I got sidetracked. And I thought, let's use them here so I can show you guys how absolutely awesome they are. But I'm going to use the pencils. They have the names written on the side. This one's called At the Circus, and this one is called Choco Mint Candy. So we're going to be using these two for the moment. I want to... what I'm going to do is kind of, I'm going to add this up here on this little stalk. This is mostly brown, black, and I think there might be just like a sliver of pale green in, or I'm sorry, dark green in there, but it's mostly colors that would look really good in the trunks of trees and in like a brunette hair style. This is a really clever pencil, and I like it. So I'm going to use that to create this little stalk. And then I'm just going to let that ombre effect work its magic. And I'm also going to bring this down a little bit into the pumpkin. Not a lot, because it is a color changing pencil. I don't want to mess with it too much because I really like the way that, you know, this color's coming along. And don't worry, I'll zoom us in here in a second. I'm still kind of getting a feel for this one. Now I'm going to switch over to the chocolate mint. It's called Choco Mint Candy, and I'm going to start working on her little dress. Now this one has orange, chocolate brown, mint green, and emerald green in the swirl. So it's definitely going to be really interesting in this little in this little peasant dress. And I'm just doing, you know, long, kind of almost like we did with the hair in the doll video from earlier. You know, just long, kind of vertical stripes. This is a pretty tightly wound color swirl, so it's not like it takes very long for the colors to start to change. You're not stuck with one color for very long, and it really does interact. The colors interact with each other very well. I'm just gonna fill in her little dress. It's really kind of a pretty ombre color. Very good for Halloween. But you know, BadA Art, it's Halloween all year long, so you guys come on over. Don't be sad because Halloween's over. You can color Halloween all the time. we're pro Halloween. This will kind of give it almost an iridescent or shimmery sort of look, this color change. Okay, now that's actually a pretty good one to add up here because the green's in it too. Just kind of, just trying to fill this out a little bit. It looks a little sparse. Okay, so for her eyes, I have, what do I have? I have some Artezas over here. And let's see what I want to do with her. I want to give her, you know, some pretty unique green eyes. Let's see what we can do. I'm using Arteza Pastel. Now before I start getting into the paler part, I want to go in. I'm going to use this at the circus just because it's laying here. But at home, grab a dark brown, like a chocolate brown pencil, and go right around the outer ring of her eye. And we'll add some eyelashes to her here in a second too. But first, we're just going to shadow all of this area. And now I'm going to take the other, that chocolate mint color, because it's got a darker green in it. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just gonna kind of go. So you at home, if you don't have these pencils, just grab a dark green, and pretty much any dark green will do. It doesn't have to be spot on. I just don't have a dark green in this pastel set. So first of all, I'm going to go in with the Arteza number A636. And I'm going to color a good portion of her eye. All around this outer area where it's a little bit darker. And I'm also going to grab that spot right there. Now I'm going to use this kind of a golden, almost a golden color, A637. Let's zoom in a little bit. That's a little better. And I'm just kind of coming down in here in this reflective part with the yellow, where the light is really hitting this eye and making it light. Now I'm going to kind of change gears and go towards one that has a bit of blue in it. This is A622. And I'm going to move that right in. I'm just going to kind of work that right up. I'm not going to overlap all of it. I'm not trying to change all of that. I'm just bringing that right up so that it kind of merges in. It looks like a natural color change. Now I'm going to very, very pale, kind of a sage or celery green. It's called A632. I'm going to just kind of work this in here and there. I'm not being real specific about it. It's a really pale green, like I was saying. And then later we'll go in with a white gel pen to kind of brighten this stuff up. But for now, I think we're pretty good on the eyes. We've got a lot going on in this this picture, so I'm not trying to, you know, totally overdo us. Let me zoom us back out. Now I'm going to take these NeoColors, these dark brown ones, and I'm actually gonna grab the black one too. And I want another color. No. I'm gonna come to the inside of the little picture frame here. Actually, I have a different idea all of a sudden, but I'm still gonna add this brown here. Now I'm gonna throw in just a wild pop of color, just off the wall pop of color. I'm gonna add this, this one is they're calling it purple, but it's kind of more of a fuchsia color. And I'm gonna lay this right in here too. Now we'll probably, there's a little bit of a cityscape behind her. I'm not terribly worried if I lose the details of that. I don't think I will 100%, but I'm not, like I said, really worried if I do. And my papers are a little wrinkly. I did set something really, really heavy on it. I've got this behind us as well. That's why these little lines popped up here, but that's okay. I'll get this. You know, having something behind your page to protect it is important while you're using water in your book. But yeah, I'm not terribly worried about losing those details, because we can go back later and pull those out in a really unique way with a, you know, metallic gold gel pen. We can outline them or fill them in or do whatever we want. Right now I'm more concerned about making this look really unique, and I think this purple is gonna do that. Let's see. We'll see. We're gonna find out, aren't we? Now I do have that Ohuhu plastic. It came with the markers, so it's, I looked everywhere to see if it was something that they sold separately, because it's actually handy. But they sell it with the markers, you know, to put behind your paper when you're using markers in your book. And it just kind of comes complimentary with the marker set. They don't sell it individually yet. I did send them a message and say, hey, this is handy. Maybe you should sell these separately. So we'll see. I'm kind of a nobody thing. Maybe if enough of us send them the messages, they'll be like, oh, that might be a good idea. So it doesn't take a lot of water to activate the paint on the NeoColors. Just a damp brush, and we'll do it. That's all you need. Also, if you find, you know, that you're going along and you've wetted the paper, but you need a little more paint, Caran DAche makes this nifty little palette that's got a, it's kind of textured on one side, and you can kind of scrub away here and then add, oh, I'm shaking, and then add, you know, the wet brush, and it activates it and turns it into paint. So that's kind of a neat little, you know, then you can just go in and add. It's what I'm doing here, where I had those lines where my divider, or my paper protector was underneath it. Kind of gave me a line when I was going over it. But yeah, that's I like that in the background. I just got to keep it nice and smooth. And then as we get closer to her, we're going to switch off to kind of a bluish green color to give her sort of an eerie look. And don't worry if you get paint on her little hands and stuff. We're going to give her sort of a grayish skin tone maybe. We'll go over with something. So if you get some paint on her or something, don't worry. We'll fix it. We can fix anything. I'm just kind of bringing this forward a little bit more. And that went down pretty well. No big problems there. If you're at home and you're not using NeoColors, I will link them in the description. I've also got some less expensive options. I will link in the description. I've got them on order so that I can try them. I haven't tried them. These are the only watercolor crayon that I've tried so far. I'm always open to new stuff, obviously. So those are on the way. But if you're following along at home, you can grab watercolors pretty cheap anywhere. Just a kid's watercolor set, honestly, or any watercolor set. Just make sure that you've watered it down, nice and thin, and you're just barely applying it to the paper. Or if you don't want to use paint, that's fine too. You can use a marker, you can use pan pastels, you can use pencils. It is totally up to you. I'm going to go in with this green color, this darker green. And I'm going to mix it with blue so I can get kind of a teal color. And those are the only two in the set. And I'm just kind of mixing those two together. And I don't want this to be, wildly thick. I'm going to go over this with white in a second. It's actually too blue. And this one is your white. And I wanted it to be a little greener than that. So what I'll do is let this dry a bit more, and then we'll go back in with some pencils and add a little bit of yellow, and that'll take care of that. So I'm going to add a touch of red to the purple. Just for a little bit more warmth. Just kind of bring this in. and give it that kind of vintage photograph background look. I'm making it really, really light, just barely colored water here. And actually, when you mix red and green, it comes out to be sort of a brown color, like a flesh tone. Anytime you mix two primary, or not two opposing colors together, it does make a sort of flesh tone. So if you're unhappy with that, you can kind of neutral it out that way as well. I think I might just do that because that was way too blue. And remember, it's supposed to look kind of like an old photo, so if you don't get every single little piece of it and it looks a little warped or fuzzy, it's okay. It's absolutely okay. Now, last but not least, I'm going to go around this old antique frame with black. And I might just leave her little skin where it is. It's not bad. We want her to look a little pasty. Now, by going around this slightly, you'll be able to still see all of the detailing underneath it. And for those of you at home, just grab some charcoal or some pan pastels and dust it on. Give it kind of an old tarnished silver look. Now we will also be finishing up our little spider web girl from this book on Wednesday. And then we'll be starting a new project from this book as well. So we have a busy week. And we'll also be working on a new project and toys in the attic. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. Come on over to my Facebook group. It's called BadA Art. I will put a link in the description below. If you haven't already subscribed, I hope you will. That way you'll always know when I upload a new video. I generally upload 3 to 4 times a week. Lots of coloring adventures. I hope you'll join me and Fiona hang out with us and learn lots of cool art tips and tricks and be a badass artist with us. I hope you've enjoyed her. She's been fun. We will catch you on Wednesday.